And welcome back to Clutch Time. Today we are talking about the Pac-12 and we are focusing in on Washington State and what their season outlook will look like this year. And so let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And so with Washington State, I think that they are set to really make some noise in the Pac-12. I really like what this team has on paper. Let's see if they're able to put it together once the game starts. And so let's start with how this team is constructed. And so they have 6 forwards, they have 5 guards, and they have 1 center. And what I like about this team is just I love the size. And so the average size for this team is 6'7". And I think that they are going to present some mismatches on the offensive end. I think that they're going to be able to use their size to get to the lane and get easy baskets that way. And I also think, too, on defense, they're going to be a problem for teams because I think that they're going to be able to use that size to get into the passing lane. And I think that they're also going to be much better as far as contesting shots. And so I think that the real big issue here with Washington State, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, is just that they're going to have to lock in. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a moment. So next, just moving forward with this team and just looking at the players that are coming back that I think are going to be some big time contributors for this team. I think it starts with J.D. Reyes here at forward. And so I think he's going to be very much depended on. He's the starting small forward right now. And so, look, he averaged 14.5 points a game, which actually led the team. And this is a guy that gets 4.8 rebounds a game. And the thing about him is just he has terrific athleticism. And so he has the ability to get to the cup, to get some easy shots and things like that. This is a guy that is certainly going to fill the lane when they get some fast break opportunities. And he's also very good on the defensive end. And so this guy can definitely play both ends of the floor. He's certainly you can classify him as a two-way player. The issue with him, and one of the things that he has to work on is he needs to improve his jump shot. And so can he improve the range? Because if he's put in a good summer and he's ready to go with a much better jump shot this season, this team is definitely going to be a problem here in the Pac-12. And so when you look at his percentages, you'll see that he shot a very good percentage of 62.7% from the field. But a lot of that stuff was near the basket, just using his athleticism to get there. But when you look at just really his 3-point percentage, not a very good percentage at all, 19.5% there. And he doesn't shoot the free throw very well. So 64.2%. And so you need that to go up, especially for a guy that led the team in dunks with 41. And so that suggests that he's going to be able to get to the rim and they're probably going to hack him. And so he's got to be able to make these free throws and make teams pay. And so let's see if he's put in the work over the summer. But I definitely think that he is the first player that you want to take a look at as far as just really leading this team. And I think he's going to be super impactful for them. And so next up, the next player that is returning that I think is definitely going to take a step forward for them is the one center on the roster, and that's going to be Trayvon Sherwood. And so with him, he's a sophomore as well, 6'11". And for him, he averaged 9.6 points a game. And so he was the second leading scorer here on the team. But, when you look at his rebounds, only 4.7 rebounds. And so I think he's got to get a lot better as far as getting the rebounds. But you're talking about a guy that can stretch the floor. And so he can shoot the basketball. So he shot 46.6% from downtown. So he has terrific range as a stretch big here. And I think as a rim protector, not bad, almost a shot block a game. And so he's their best shot blocker here. And so I think he's going to have to step up even more. And so, just with his ability to go outside, I think if he can now put it together, be a little bit more polished on the block here, you're going to look at a very nice duo here between these two. And so a very nice forward center combo. Let's see if they can actually carry Washington State to some more victories. And so those are the two players that you want to look out for that are returning. And so next, going into their newcomers, and this is where I get really, really excited with this team and why I'm like, man, they just have a ton of potential. I just don't know if they're going to be able to really put it all together. And so, the first player that they have coming in that I think is definitely going to be impactful for them is going to be Dylan Laporte. And so with him, I think he's going to be a guy that he's certainly going to be a versatile forward that they're going to depend on. Excuse me. He has plenty of ways to score. And he's got terrific size here at the 6'10", and he's a freshman. The one thing that he's going to need to work on is defensive consistency. And so, this is a guy that very much I think is going to be really impactful year one for this team. And I wonder, okay, will he put it together defensively to really be that player that you're talking about? Like, man, this was a terrific freshman pickup. I just think he has the potential, but potential is one thing, but they've got to put it together. But he's a player that I definitely think he could be in line for a big role with Washington State. And then, next here, I think the next player that could step up for them is going to be Livermore. And so with him, here's a freshman coming in at guard, 6'5", from Oregon, and he's a freshman as well. And so his ability as a playmaker, and then he just has great size. He has a terrific handle. And then the big question about him is going to be defensively as well. And so he's another one of these freshmen that I think could certainly come in and play a big role for Washington State. And I think if they're going to make some noise, well, he's going to have to come in and make some big plays for this team early. And then next, I think another player that certainly is going to step up for them also too, 6'5" forward. He's a freshman as well. Great, just jump shot coming in. And that's going to be Adia Pyatt. And so he's going to be a player that I think that they are going to look to depend on. Again, he's a freshman coming in. And so with those three freshmen, I think that they have a ton of potential to really turn some things around for Washington State. Now, here's another reason why I like Washington State coming into this is that when you look at just really how their schedule played out and really some of the games that they were in a ton of games. And so they lost to Princeton by 1. They lost to UCLA by 10. Obviously, they went on to win, the championship last season. They lost to UNLV by 2. And so that was a team that went deep in Hoopsteria. And they beat Nova. And so they beat Villanova 89-84. That was part of their 3-game winning streak to start off the season. And so this team is very capable. And they were just in a lot of games and just mentally they could not finish them. They couldn't figure out ways to finish. And so I think that is probably one of the things that I worry about with this team is just, what we're talking about is something that you can't measure by stats. It's going to be something that is just a mental block for this team. And they're going to have to find a way to push through because if they can, I can see that these wins are going to go into their favor because I just talked about, 3 or 4 games that just they slipped out of their hands, but they were right there in there. And Washington State, look, they were 15-16 last season, which was good enough for 7th in the conference. They were 6-8 in conference play. And so a couple wins here or there, this could push them over 500 and they could be right there contending. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to win the Pac-12, but I think that they could make a lot of noise. And like I said, I love what they have incoming. I think that when you look at their offense and the way that it's set up, with the balanced attack, the way that they want to run the man-to-man principles, I think that they actually really went out and recruited players that really fit what they want to do. And so it's just a matter of these players stepping up, locking in on the defensive end. And I think that you see a Washington State team that's much improved, and we're talking about them in a great way next season and probably talking about them a lot for just all the wins that they're getting. And just maybe it might be one of the most improved teams. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking about Washington State in the Pac-12. Do you think that they are going to be more in the contender conversation next year? Again, not saying that they're going to win it, but more so they're making some noise. And this is a team that certainly qualifies for Hoopsteria and perhaps goes in there and does some damage in that. And then, or do you think that they're a pretender in the sense that, hey, it looks good on paper. You don't believe that this team is going to be able to put it together. Like I said, they have some solid returners coming, and they also have a very good freshman class coming as well. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments. And as we always say, look, see the game and be the game. We'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.